Welcome to this week's session with the Putnam County District Library, the Guiding Ohio Online Grant. This is Shelley, and this week we're going to take a look at tips for using Microsoft PowerPoint. The last 2 weeks we've looked at, last week we looked at using Excel with Microsoft, and the week before that we had looked at Word. Those are all available on the Putnam County YouTube page if you'd like to go back and take a look at any of those. But this week, as we look at the tips for Microsoft PowerPoint, I've actually got PowerPoint pulled up here on the screen, and I'm just going to go through an actual PowerPoint as we're talking about this, so you can kind of see what I am discussing here. So I've got the Putnam County District Library is the first slide that I'm showing. And then I have this second slide where I just had the Putnam County District Library Guiding Ohio Online Grant. And so I have 2 slides here right in a row that are identical slides. I'm going to show you a little bit later about duplicating. The first one we're going to look at is say it with a picture. And a lot of times with a slide, if at all possible, if something can be said with a picture, as you've often heard the saying, picture's worth 1,000 words. So on slide 4 then, you can see I have a picture of the Putnam County District Library. So that would be one way I could have started out with simply a picture of the library instead of having any words on my screen. This second tip, duplicate a slide. So I've got this slide showing here, and to duplicate a slide, which is what I had done up here with slide 1 and 2, I'm going to simply go up here to my insert at the top, and I'm simply going to say duplicate slide. And now you'll notice both slide 5 and slide 6 are the same exact slide. So it made it real simple. I did not have to go in and add a text box and do anything, any added steps. The next tip, I've got this slide here called Slide Sorter. And the reason I've got this showing here on my left-hand side is so that you can actually see how you can move slides around. The Slide Sorter, notice I've got this is tip 3, but you don't see that showing here. So what I would want to do is I've got slide 8 that I want to move up. So I simply click on it and drag, and notice how I've got that line that appears. So it's going to take that slide and move it up to slide 7. So if I was going through this presentation, I would want number 3 to be slide 7, and then be able to click on slide 8 to see my slide sorter. Notice then this slide, I have a picture added, so just kind of as an added benefit here, I wanted you to see how I've got this picture added. Notice over here on the side then I have all of these different options of how I can work with my actual background and as well as with my picture. So I could go in here and I could change the picture, saturation, temperature, and such. Slide 9 is showing us no font size smaller than 24. This slide, or this text box, if I click on it, you can see this is at a 42 up here at the top. Notice what happens with these others. I click here, and this slide is at an 11. So it's definitely smaller than the 24 font size, which makes it very difficult to read. Same thing, I can click up here. Notice this font size is an 18. So again, we want to make sure that the size is at least a 24. So if I go up here and I say I want to insert a text box, I would make my text box, and up here is where I would change my size as well as I can change my font style. Again, you want to make sure that you're consistent with your font styles. You don't want to change those throughout the presentation. But I would simply go here, and if I go to 24 and I start to type, this is an example. So that is an example of a size 24, which would be about the smallest that you would ever want to go on an actual slide presentation. And then the last tip, tip 5, I saved for the end because it's the fifth tip, but it's also the 5-5-5 rule, meaning you need to make sure that you only have 5 words per line on a slide. Otherwise, it becomes too much. Now, I said 5 words per line on a slide, meaning the line itself. Notice this line way over the 5 words. It can get kind of confusing because it says it going across. And obviously, I couldn't get that all on one line. And if I shrink that up to the size 24, notice how much that seems to be across the line. Then the other fifth rule here, 5 lines of text on a slide. So in other words, we wouldn't want more than 5 lines going down this page. So we would want to make sure that everything we had to say, if say I want to go down here and I have something else to say, and then I have something else to say, and I have something else to say, notice how that is now over that 5 rule of 5 lines going down. And then the fifth of the 5-5-5 rule is 5 slides in a row with heavy text. So in other words, if I had this slide, I would not want to, I'll just go up here real quick, and I'm going to go to duplicate slide. In other words, I wouldn't want to have 5 of these slides in a row because that would be a lot of text, a lot of information. Again, going back to the very first slide we talked about up here, where say it with a picture, meaning if you can say some of your information by simply showing a picture and then talking about it, it would be much better. So that is our 5 tips for the week that have to do with using Microsoft PowerPoint. Hope everyone has a good week. Next week, we will be looking at using something referred to as PDF Candy. So I hope you can all join us. Have a great week.